Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. We've been talking a lot about supports recently and I thought now is a good time to do a video with KarQ, who is another content creator and a top 500 support main. We're going to be focusing on playing Ana mostly, but we are going to go over the aspects of Moira and Mercy, but let's get started. So let's begin with the introductions. Who are you, what is it that you do, and why should players play more Ana?
So, hello, my name is KarQ. I'm a content creator on YouTube and a streamer, and I play mainly support at the top 500 and Grandmaster level with a lot of Ana. I think I have almost 300 hours on her. I do think Ana is in a better spot due to the recent buff, but it's definitely still not a bad pick to play Mercy by any means. I think Ana's win rate went up a little bit. She has a little bit more power, but if you're innately a passive Ana, there's really not that much of a difference in terms of like her healing output. The only difference is if you were an aggressive Ana in the past and you went for the offensive shots and you were aggressive with pressuring the enemy, then yeah, you will see a big difference because of the change in the breakpoint. Of course, 60 damage over 3 shots is 180, but 70 over 3 shots is 210, which does hit that 200 HP breakpoint and does end up killing squishies if you manage to land those shots.
Before we start focusing a little bit more on Ana, I wanted to get your opinion on the general health of the support category, I suppose. Are there any problems that you see, or is everything in quite a good spot currently?
Based on community feedback and professionals that I've spoken to who have been scrimming with Moira, I think the balance of supports is way better than it was with the initial change of Mercy. You remember when Mercy was initially changed with Valkyrie, she was what, 99% or something. Now that Moira's in the mix, I have heard that they are like experimenting with like one of the best balances in terms of supports that we've seen in a long time, which is actually very good news. I think people were saying they're running Moira with triple tank or even quad tank comps. Ana is run again. Mercy is still fine, not nowhere near 99% in professional play or whatnot, and but she's still good. Like the Valkyrie is still unmatched. It's one of the best ultimates in the game in my opinion. You get 20 seconds of some insane healing, or an option to damage boost. You know, you're super mobile. You have passive regeneration, and you can still pull off a double res. It's just so much built into that. So that ultimate is still very powerful in its own right. Balancing supports should be done from top down. So you like whatever the highest or the best players see, we start there, and if they're noticing that we are able to, you know, kind of balance out the supports, like I would honestly say this is one of the best states in terms of balance. I think it's 20% for each. You know, there's 5 healing supports, quote unquote. I don't think the professionals play much Symmetra, but if we talk about the healing supports, I do think it's 20, 20, 20, 20, 20 right now, which is great. So right now it'll take a while for Mercy to be toned down. She's super popular as a hero itself, but I do think the pros, yeah, are balancing everything out quite well. I
spoke to EVA earlier this week and she really wanted to highlight the fact that new Mercy plays a lot like old Mercy, where it's based around solely Mercy's ultimate now. It was her 5-man res before, now it's Valkyrie, and it's basically whoever gets Mercy ult first wins. Is that something that you agree with, or do you think that there's other problems concerning Mercy's kit and how she's played?
Yeah, I think right now that they've taken power away from res outside of ultimate, in which there's a little channel time, right, like 1.75 seconds, I think it's conceptually it is similar, because yeah, you're playing Mercy around her ultimate at all times because her Valkyrie is so powerful, and then the previous old Mercy, her power revolved around her like multiple resurrection 3 to 5 man or whatever. But yeah, I do think a lot of the power of new Mercy is now back into her ultimate, and we kind of run into that same problem objectively speaking, where you kind of just try to farm your ultimate as fast as you can and then play off of that, versus the other supports where something like Ana, where the bio nade and the shots are powerful outside of the ultimate. Lucio's speed boost is great outside of ultimate. Zen Ana can still land shots, and you know, Discord orb outside of his ultimate. The rest of the supports are played outside of their ultimate, while Mercy right now is essentially whoever farms Valkyrie first and who can pop it first usually ends up winning because of the power of the double res plus the chain healing.
Real quick, we know that Ana's pick rate went up and Mercy's went down. We know that Ana is a popular hero for a lot of players to play and Mercy isn't, basically. I just wanted to know, do you think that the perception of these heroes, Ana being a popular hero, Mercy being ragged on quite a lot, how much do you think that had to do with the pick rates going up and down for Ana and Mercy respectively?
I think from the top down, I think a lot of the lower ranked players do gather a lot of influence from the higher ranked players, and I think Yeah, the changes definitely helped, and the stigma, I don't really think the stigma is that big in the general sense. I think it's just a vocal minority where people express their disdain for like Mercy mains, but I feel like in ranks lower than what Grandmaster and Master, like a lot of people just default to Mercy because she's relatively easy to just pick up and have impact on, while Ana requires a lot of hours to be effective with. You really can't afford to miss your shots as Ana, and like she's not as forgiving. But I think the players at the top, they know how to, you know, maximize or get a lot out of her kit. So when players at the top start playing a lot of Ana, it does trickle down a little bit. I think you said what the buffs definitely helped in this. I don't think the stigma something as significant as you may think it is.
Moira's now in the game. Mercy's in a better spot, Ana's in a better spot. But if you were Blizzard looking at the support category, what hero would you be looking at to change, either buffing, nerfing, or just some quality of life changes as well?
Across all the supports, I would still be looking at Mercy right now. I think the recent Ana buff is nice for her, and I think she needs a little bit more time. I think one of the reasons why she was so undervalued is because under that category of primary healer, it used to only be Mercy and Ana, and Mercy was just like better in every way. Mercy's been toned down just a little bit, and Ana's been buffed a little bit. It's better, but I still think Mercy has the advantage in competitive matches on the ladder for pick rate and win rate. I don't think Ana's win rate is even still above 50% across the board. I think it's still like 45, 46. I may be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that. I'd still be looking at Mercy and I still think she needs to have her ultimate adjusted in some way. I still think it is extremely powerful, and to make her more rewarding and fluid to play outside of her ultimate. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, she's banked around her entire ultimate this time. 20 seconds is like a team fight winner as long as you can survive. And then you have so much hyper mobility that it's not too hard to survive. If you're expecting high, like if they have a McCree or Soldier, you can kind of expect that. Play around it. You have so much mobility. You can fly to wherever. And I do think if you're smart about it, her ultimate is still too powerful. So if I were on the balance team, I'd be looking at Mercy, taking some power away from that and adding it somewhere else to make her gameplay a bit more rewarding outside of it.
I think a lot more players are going to pick up Ana. I think she's going to keep rising in popularity because it's a good opportunity to play her. You've been playing her for quite some time. I just wondered if you had any common mistakes that you see players making when learning or playing this hero that you really think they should try and avoid.
I think if you want to pick up Ana, I think you need to reliably be able to land shots. So if you're someone that you can admit that your aim isn't the greatest, like you don't play much hit scan, you don't play much McCree or Widow or whatnot, I don't think Ana is the right hero to just pick up as a support. She takes a lot of finesse and practice to get used to with the shots, and positionally, you don't have the escapes like Mercy. You can't just fly it in. If someone's jumping, you can't fly to another teammate across the map. You can't speed boost your way out of there. Same with Zen. Zen and Ana require big positional awareness. So specifically for Ana, you know, if you know you're in a vulnerable spot, you have to think about whether you have your sleep dart or your nade available to fight back for a bit. That's big. Positioning yourself where you have the best angle to heal your team in a fight, but you know, ensuring that you're not too isolated in which like they're in range to jump you. It's so hard to give you like a fine or like a definite way to play it, but the best approach is, you know, like I said, because it definitely does change based on the game and what the enemy team is running, but just in a position where you have the optimal angle to heal, but close enough to get, you know, back up in case you dove, is like my definition of a positional way to play it. And mechanically, yeah, I do think she requires a lot of practice, because not only is she kind of projectile on the unscoped, but the scoped requires, I think learning quick scoping, that mechanic itself is one of the best or essential skills to playing her effectively. So yeah, starting to master quick scoping would be step one. If you think your positioning is fine, but you think the mechanics are lacking, then definitely look to add quick scoping. And yeah, that'll be a start. And the rest of it comes with experience.
Because seasons are a lot smaller, I think players are almost incentivized to go, oh, Season 8's coming up, I'm going to learn this hero for this season and practice it more. That's like my resolution for that season. Out of Moira, Zenyatta, Ana, Mercy, even Lucio, what healing support would you recommend that players pick up for the upcoming season? Or even right now?
I get this question a lot actually on stream, what supports they suggest that I would recommend them playing, and I do say Zenyatta. most of the time, because he can single-handedly, you know, carry a game and have way more impact than just being like a healing bot is what I like to call it. Sometimes when people play Ana or Mercy, they default to just being a healing bot and playing super passively. But Zen Ana can be a playmaker in himself. And if you manage to like just trade or kill a DPS as a Zen Ana, think about it. Think about a 2-2-2 comp of a DPS, 2 DPS, 2 tanks, 2 supports. You're filling a support slot, and you manage to take out somebody in the DPS slot in the enemy team, and inherently that has so much value. So even as as long as you have a healing orb on someone, like, which is something you should always be doing anyways in Zen Ana, you're doing that kind of healing role, but you manage to like take out a DPS, you already like added value for like almost 20-30 seconds until the enemy respawns. So I think Zen Ana has so much firepower. I think he's one of the best heroes to definitely pick up for support. I ended up picking him up after Mercy got the huge buff last season, and I've just been rocking the 60-65% win rate with him, like 40 hours in. So he's been great for me, and I do recommend him.
So is Ana in a perfect balanced spot now? What things would you change if you had to control her? Granted, it's a little bit wait and see with how she's actually going to play out, but are there any other changes that you would make to her? Any buffs that you can think of that might help her quality of life wise?
Out of everything, I think her kit is versatile enough to be very powerful on its own right, but her biggest problem is something like Winston bubbles or Diva Defense Matrix. Anybody diving her, she can't heal through. Someone like Mercy can heal through bubbles and can heal through a lot of things. As long as the beam is tethered on them, you have like even like a little bit of forgiveness or a grace period when you like break line of sight. So for Ana, I would say something like maybe piercing shots, so you can heal through bubbles, like your shots go through it, but it's like reduced at a rate. That was one of my first suggestions. I'm not sure how hard that is to implement, but I always thought that would be a nice change. Because Ana heals, I think, what, 75 per shot? I may even be wrong about that. I think it is 75. But if you shoot it through a bubble or something, maybe it gets reduced to like 30 or 35 or something along those lines. Whatever, arbitrary number, but as long as it's a bit less, that would be a nice change. But in terms of being meta, she's all right, but she still suffers against dive. If you recall season 4, when dive was like super prominent with Lucio Zen, Winston, Diva, Genji, Tracer, Ana was having a really hard time, which is why a lot of people defaulted to Lucio's, and Ana really hasn't been played as much ever since season 3 when they nerfed her and triple tank kind of fell out and dive became powerful. If you recognize that the enemy team is running very immobile heroes, or they're running the Ryan, Zarya, Deathball comp, then yeah, definitely be looking to play Ana.
And also, same question with Mercy. Is there anything that you would change quality of life wise? If you were to buff on her for a change, what would you do specifically?
Dynamically, I think we can talk about her res. Not so much a nerf or buff, but just attune the way it's earned. I think people were suggesting something like soul collecting, or maybe like a separate chart, like a separate meter.
Kind of like a Torbjorn scrap meter.
Yeah, exactly. A separate scrap meter. I took this a lot from EVA.
Yeah, he's the one that said it to me.
Yeah. Her suggestions were definitely probably the best, you know, the most experience on Mercy, one of the most. And yeah, so something dynamically like that to earn her resurrection would be a nice start to change her. Not necessarily buff or nerf her, but, you know, make her more intuitive and fluid.
Usually at the end of videos, we do like the golden tip that people can really recommend, and there's no better person to ask than you. But I wanted to ask, like, out of all of the videos that you've done, you've had people like XQC and Effect starring in your videos talking about their preferred heroes of choice. What is the best tip that you've received from other people in your one tip videos?
So one of the tips that definitely wowed me was when I did the Reinhardt tips with Clone Man. There was one with Hanzo where if you Sonic Arrow his shield, the Sonic Arrow stays on his shield, so you can dump the arrow somewhere else. Like, just drop this, you can just walk away somewhere else, dump the arrow on the floor, and then walk back, and it'll just be Sonic resonating from there. And the fact that it still does damage when you drop it. So, in the clip from the video, I Sonic Arrow his shield, and then we have a Tracer stand underneath him, and he lets go, and then the Sonic Arrow slowly falls down, and then dinks Tracer in the head and kills her. And I think that was like, it's not really practical by any means, but I thought it was very, very funny and very, very cool. For Ana, I think a lot of people are aware of the quick scoping mechanic, but something that people may not know is that and something that I do recommend for like really, it's really minor-ish, but it's something that, you know, you could definitely add to your gameplay. But when you reload, you can cancel it into any ability. So sometimes what I like to do is, if I'm reloading and there's a bunch of tanks in front of me that need to be healed, I won't nade before I reload. I'll like, if I need to reload soon, I'll start the reload animation, and as soon as the ammo goes back to 10, like, and there's still like a little bit of remainder of the animation, I throw the nade then and there. And it kind of saves you like half a second or a second, but you know, in a game of Overwatch where every second counts, you know, how many times have you ever had a teammate die like the moment you hit them or you try to heal them? So if you can minimize those, that'd be great. So learning to animation cancel, yeah, so as soon as the reload, as soon as the ammo hits 10 out of 10, or you hear that certain audio cue, or you watch the animation, you know what it looks like, throw a nade, you can throw a sleep dart, or you can even nano boost, and it'll cancel the rest of it, and you'll get the ability out.
And finally, to finish on, where can people see more of you? Top 500 support main, playing all of these heroes. No doubt going to be playing a lot of Moira as well. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at youtube.com/KarQ Games, or on Twitch at twitch.tv/KarQ, KarQ.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. You don't need me to tell you where you can find KarQ with his one tip videos. All of the details are in the description regardless. And let me know who you would like us to talk to for any future stuff. Doomfist has some changes on the way, so maybe talk to somebody there. Who knows? Let me know what you think. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.